want to talk about 13 things that went down 13 years ago that I'm still going to my therapist for.
I always celebrate 13 years ago by watching Throwback.
I loved Punk'd. It defined a generation.
Freaking loved Punk'd.
Punk'd was the best, and Ashton Kutcher was the best, and I remember all of it.
Punk'd became this sensation.
That was like one of the few MTV shows that I would like record like on a VHS tape. Watching celebrities cry is hilarious.
Celebrities would punk other celebrities, and the reason why you were obsessed with the show is because you got to see celebrities panicking about things.
It was the ultimate show for like finding out who was a douchebag in real life.
God, I remember the pilot episode of that. I think they tried to punk Tara Reid, which is like, haha, your life is kind of a joke.
And he got like the best celebrities to do
Yeah,
it.
he got Britney Spears crying.
I think it really ignited people to believe they could pull pranks. Like, remember when Justin Timberlake full on cried?
And called his mother in his driveway. He's like, Mommy, they're taking my stuff.
And were they gonna like take his dog?
Yeah, and he's like outside of his like
with
house,
his head down.
which was like really like the Cheesecake Factory. There were columns happening. I remember it as if
I
it was
remember it
yesterday.
too.
God, that was good. And Ashton
wearing
Kutcher put Ashton on the map.
He pretty much got every celeb.
And it also introduced us to like Dax Shepard.
That's true.
Ashton Kutcher was so charming and so lovely, and he was always like jumping off of things and like fake punching the camera and like his like stupid hat, but it just worked and was so good.
That's what I remember the most, is he'd have a black and white camera over here. So it would be like, well, today we're gonna go punk some celebrities, and then he'd like, for no reason, turn like this at the other camera and be like, and it's gonna be crazy.
Finding Nemo.
Wait a minute, Finding Nemo was 13 years ago?
Oh, 13 years ago, oh God.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Really?
so
Oh my
good.
god, that's flown. I love that
Wallaby
movie.
Way Sydney, emo touch the butt.
That was such a sad movie. I don't like the idea of being lost in life and or in the sea.
You know how kids love Disney movies and stuff? I don't know, I was a jerk or something because I just didn't care. I was like, so Nemo's gone. Marlon, go get remarried. Go start a new family.
I can't believe that's how long it's taken them to do Finding Dory. That's a long time.
People were expected to remember Finding Nemo from 13 years ago and then go watch Finding Dory. Those people have had children since then. Oh, you bring your children.
Ellen was popular before Finding Nemo, but then Finding Nemo really, I feel like.
That put her on them. I mean, she had like 6 sitcoms before
Yeah, no,
that.
I feel like more
But-
mainstream, like
yeah.
people just was like, oh, Dory was their favorite character, and it's Ellen. Ellen is Dory.
Oh, yeah.
Really? 13 years ago?
No.
Really?
Thank you, OC. Without you, where would we be without Misha Barton?
Great show, really great show. That show made me want to get highlights.
It had such a cult following. If you didn't watch the OC, or at least know of it, you must have been living under a rock.
That was like a soap opera show for kids.
It's
I
so
loved
funny
it.
to like look back then and think of like how saucy it was where the mum was hooking up with the daughter's friend. And they look at something like Game of Thrones, it's like everyone's sleeping with everyone, it's totally fine.
California by Phantom Planet.
Oh.
Don't they reference the 101 on it? And I'm like, I'm on the 101 right now.
Except you didn't drive.
and the 101 does not go to Orange County, so that is a little irrelevant.
No, it would have been a while since we had a good teen show.
I loved
Yeah.
it. Me and my girlfriends, we'd have like, we used to be on Wednesday night. In Australia, we used to all go to someone's house on a Wednesday night and eat like lots of M&Ms and like watch it.
Was
and
it
be
Adam
like,
Brody?
Marissa, Ryan,
Yeah,
are we gonna do it
Marissa
together?
died.
I would like to point out One Tree Hill also came out this year.
And then the OC inspired like Laguna Beach in the hills. We have a lot to be grateful for.
But the OC was more famous.
I watched them
because
both
It
at
had
the
more
same time.
famous people.
Misha Barton, Benjamin McKenzie,
Adam
aka Ryan
Brody.
Atwood.
Adam Brody.
And yeah, no, Adam Brody, that was his breakout role, and everyone then he became like the hot nerd that everyone wanted.
I have to tell you, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but whatever, I have no dignity left.
Between friends, it's fine.
I remember telling my best friend, I loved the OC so much, I told her, I was like, what will I have to live for when the show's not on anymore? And then I got super into One Tree Hill and everything was fine.
Everything changed. You're easily distracted, I might add.
Welcome to the OC, bitch.
Welcome to the OC, bitch.
She did? Angelina Jolie kissed her brother?
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
So Angelina Jolie passionately kissed her brother at the Oscars. And listen, I love PDA. I love my family. I'm all about a quick lip kiss, you know, that's fine.
Quick,
But like, if
being the
tongue
word.
is involved, it just seems like a little intimate.
she made out with him. And they look alike. So I guess I kind of get it because they're both so attractive.
I want to look this up. Are you serious?
It's not like a friendly sibling kiss. It's like, bleh.
No, yeah, it's not like a peg, like, oh, yeah, congrats, like, you kiss your brother or your sister. That was
there might have been tongue.
But back then, Angelina Jolie was scary.
It was around the time when she used to keep blood in a vial around her neck.
That was
Blood of
Billy
her
Bob
husband
Thornton
or something, and yeah.
Creep.
That's weird.
That just shows how crazy she was. And that's incest, by the way.
Making out with the bro, vials of blood, and now she's royalty.
Like a UNICEF queen.
They both have those like big ass lips too, and it happened on a red carpet.
That was so weird. I can't believe we're talking about this because I was actually thinking about that while I was at spin class today. The time that Angelina Jolie made out with her brother on a red carpet. Literally was thinking about that this morning. Like, I'm still not over it and it's been 13 years. It's weird. And I'm really open-minded. That's weird.
I'm trying to picture myself kissing my brother and it makes me want to throw up all over this floor.
I have a sister. We definitely hook up though.
Really? 13 years ago, the iTunes Music Store opened. Interesting.
Oh my God. That was 13 years ago?
13 years ago?
Oh, wow. And before that, I was using Kazaa, LimeWire, Napster.
And getting all kinds of viruses.
So many viruses.
Peace out, Napster. Suck a dick.
And you could burn CDs. Mixed CDs were my
Like, mixtapes were awesome, and then all of a sudden it was like, let's make my friend a mixed CD with all these.
And then you write it all over the front what all the
I
tracks
did that.
are.
Or you got the program that would print out the little cover art.
We
'cause
would
you
do
used
that. We were
Photoshop.
nerds.
iTunes saved the music industry. They came up with this genius idea that nobody believed in, where they thought people might just want to buy a song, not a whole album. Nobody believed in them. Hello, iTunes.
That's great. Good for Steve. You know, he needed something.
But on the real, I thought iTunes, I was like, this is so stupid. Everyone wants CDs, duh. I'm smart.
Like, it's a file? It's a file!
That's crazy. Now iTunes, look how big it is. That's insane.
I still illegally download everything.
What is that, Order of the Phoenix? God, I'm such a f***ing nerd.
You're a f***ing nerd. No one likes you.
I love Harry Potter.
Surprised at every one of these facts.
I feel like that's more recent.
Cards on the table. Never read Harry Potter. I made like 4 pages in and I bailed.
Dude, I've seen all the Harry Potters, read them all.
No one likes you.
I think I only read the first 3 Harry Potters. I feel like they kept getting longer and longer, and then the 5th one was like, I just spit so much. The 5th one was like 750 pages or something.
I've never read Harry Potter.
Shame.
I'm reading it for the first time right now. My girlfriend is forcing me to.
I love Harry Potter. I remember getting my order in for like my pre-order of like the next book, and then you would read it like quite ferociously because you didn't want anyone to like ruin the story for you.
It was like the early Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
My mom never allowed us to have Harry Potter in the house because she said it was cultish and J.K. Rowling was in a cult. Don't even get me started. I used to have to like sneak the Harry Potter books until she actually saw one and realized that it was just fun. And so by the time the 5th book came around, we were all on board.
Where do buffalo wings come from? Chicken or buffaloes? Thank you, Jessica Simpson, for the quote of the year.
She had this quote too.
Yes.
Oh my God.
She did not know where buffalo wings came
I mean,
from.
this one even makes a little more sense, I think, than
Really? Because
than her
buffalo
chicken of the sea.
are the size of this, and if these are the wings of a buffalo, they're like this big.
The Maya Angelou of our time.
Truly, the
It was poetry. It was
emotion.
poetry.
Best show ever. The Newlyweds was so great. Second of all, put Jessica and Nick on the map where they stayed for a little while, not too long. It really gave you an insight as to why you shouldn't get married.
She was so stupid and we thought it was hilarious when in reality, it's actually just sad.
Oh, and then she had that whole like tuna, chicken of the sea controversy, which was such a smart move on her dad's end.
But you know what? Sometimes she made a good point. Why are we calling it chicken of the sea? That is misleading. I wasn't entirely sure.
And in her defense,
We don't know.
we don't know.
MySpace launched.
Oh,
MySpace.
MySpace.
That was the
Oh, yeah, the invention of the MySpace angle, where everything is like this, and you'd have the bulletin boards. Oh,
That's when we first became self-obsessed. That's when you first started checking in to see how many people were following you or how many people commented on your picture.
MySpace was where narcissism started.
Thank you, MySpace.
You had to get the perfect selfie for your photo. You had to have the perfect song, and then you had no, I didn't do glitter graphics.
Top 8?
But you totally had glitter graphics.
No, me and my friend would send each other glitter graphics just to be obnoxious.
I remember like decorating your MySpace page was like a big deal. You'd get like wallpapers and like music, and you'd add like a cute little kitschy quote.
You could have like backgrounds and you could, customize it, make it a thing. And I was really bad at that, so my friend had to do it for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got
think
my
it still
friend to do it
exists. It was
too.
all black and pink.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go find that.
This was the beginning of Tom. You think Tom still has that same Facebook picture? I mean, MySpace picture.
Your top 8, like who were in your top 8? Was it like hoes before bros?
I actually forgot about top 8 until you literally just brought it up. And that was like life or death. I remember like sifting through friends like, oh, well that's interesting. Okay.
It would be like my sister, then my boyfriend, then like my best friend, then like my best friend from back home who didn't actually go to school with me, and then like my other 3 best friends. And it became such a battle to like whose top 8 you were in and like how many top 8s you were featured in. And if you put like one friend over the other friend, I literally lost friends in middle school because of freaking top 8.
I got in a lot of fights
Were
with
you
a
in?
lot of friends.
I was in the Jonas Brothers top 8 once.
She designed the Jonas Brothers MySpace. Everyone clap for Lisa.
I used to design MySpace layouts. It was a great time in my life.
That was 13 years ago?
That is a jam. It played on the radio actually on the way here today.
Yes, sir, I'm cut from a different core. My texture is the best for chinchilla.
That's like OG Beyonce. That's the Beyonce that I love and miss.
Crazy in Love was crazy because it not only launched the single, but it was basically when we actually started believing that Beyonce got with Jay-Z.
And this was one of her first solo ones, wasn't it?
I think so.
I think after she broke free from Destiny's Child, aka
But
Beyonce
not
plus
fully
2 girls.
solo because it's like Jay-Z.
Alleyways and fans were happening in her hair, and like you knew that on the other side of that camera, Tina Knowles was like, "That's my girl! Yes, my girl, give it to me!" And she gave it, and we are all thankful.
Beyonce was like chewing bubble gum and like blowing big bubbles in that video, and I remember watching that and being like, I gotta get more gum.
Yeah, that song, I think I got my first boner to that song. Back in 8th grade, we had these things called Center for the Arts dances, and all like these kids would go and just grind on each other without our parents watching, and that's when sexuality was discovered for me.
Wait, is that 13 years ago? That Bethany Hamilton got her arm bit off by the shark?
Wow.
13 years ago? I would have guessed like maybe like 8 years ago.
13? That's insane, because the only way I know about that story is from that movie that they made about her life. And all I could focus on the whole time was like, this chick is more badass than I will ever be.
Also doesn't seem like it was 13 years ago, maybe because it was such a big story and it lasted for so long and she made such a huge legacy out of it.
I didn't know about it until I saw the movie later, and I was like, that's based on a true story.
I remember hearing about it, but like didn't know enough about it.
Did you watch her on The Amazing Race?
I did watch her on The Amazing Race.
She was so good.
On The Amazing Race, and
they
she got like
always have her
second
doing
place.
the hard stuff, and she was just
did
like
it.
killing it.
She's
hey, I only have one arm, and I'm
inspiration.
better than all of you.
For me, like my own personal takeaway was just stay the out of the water. I don't get inspired, I get scared.
Then she surfed, and she also almost won The Amazing Race. With her
Really?
husband, who's super hot. And now she surfs while pregnant with one arm.
I can literally barely fill up a Brita tank with water, just so we are clearly on the same page. And she is surfing with one arm, pregnant, married.
She lives in Hawaii. What the
Oh,
Yeah.
They're still cool, right?
No, that's a basic bitch thing now.
Fucking hate.
I have a pair of Uggs that are literally 8 years old.
I will not lie. If you wear Uggs, I will not be your friend.
Uggs, you know why they call them Uggs? Because they're short for ugly. Nobody should wear Uggs, they're disgusting.
I mean, dude, really? They're awful.
This SoCal girl who went to school in the heart of Orange County is very embarrassed to admit that she would wear a short denim skirt, a tank top, and it was so cold that she would throw on a scarf, a snow hat, and Uggs.
In 74-degree weather, you guys. Let me guess, you are also holding a Starbucks?
Holding a Starbucks, maybe carrying a tiny dog.
I still rock Uggs daily, even if it's hot outside. Put those bad boys on with some shorts.
They just get so warm inside, and then when people would take them off at a slumber party or wherever you were,
Traumatic experiences.
they would always smell so disgusting.
Gotta wear socks.
And you can't get them wet because then they would smell even more disgusting.
That's why you put the protective spray on them.
You're a nerd.
I lived in Miami and people were still obsessed with Uggs. I do not get it. It's always 99 degrees there.
People abuse the Ugg privilege though. And I don't mean like people who wear it abuse the privilege. I mean like they're dyeing them pink and putting fur on them. And then there was like the Ugg bejazzling and it was just too much.
I will say though, they were very comfy. Once you put your little feetsy-weetsies in there, it was like a hug.
It is like a hug.
Which is where they got it from.
Really?
Yep.
Shut up!
I won't.
That makes so much sense!
So much sense.
Flava's dolls look like the knockoff of a Barbie doll and Bratz dolls if they were one doll.
Flavas wanted to be Bratz, but they failed. Now we have no idea what they are.
They're kind of like the hip hop Barbie.
It wasn't like the tiny waist, massive boobs, booty. It was like their body was a bit more attainable. Maybe that was the whole point, and then it just didn't last.
So they like really popular in 2003, but then it's like a one-hit wonder of a song.
They just couldn't hang. They weren't the same as Bratz and Barbie. They couldn't.
The clothes were just too baggy.
Stay in your own aisle.
Paris Hilton's sex tape.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, and that's why I wasn't allowed to watch like MTV, because she had that real life show. What was it called? Simple Life. Yeah, she had Simple Life, and it was just about her being dumb, and I couldn't.
One Night in Paris.
Oh my God, it's called One Night in Paris. So apropos.
One Night in Paris. That should be remade into a high budget porno at this point.
Who was the marketing genius behind this?
Paris Hilton's sex tape was the beginning of all sex tapes, I think. It became such a thing. She really set the precedent for what a sex tape should be.
It was like the first celebrity porn.
And then it came out with like One Night in China, rest in peace. And Kim Kardashian had a sex tape. I mean, it just blew up and it's absurd, but it made her more popular.
I actually watched that sex video. I remember being like, why aren't you having sex? You're just staring at yourself in the mirror. And it was like a really good movement for night vision because everything was like kind of green. It was a great feature film.
I actually never saw Paris Hilton's porn. And I also never saw, no, that's not true. I did see Kim Kardashian's porn from my work computer here.
I don't want to admit that I have, but I totally have.
This is what put her on the map. This is what paved the way for the simple life.
So those were 13 things that we thought were really cool that happened 13 years ago, but I want to hear from you guys. So comment below, definitely subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next week for more Throwback.
Click to the left to check out our brand new challenge show, or click right to relive all those 90s trends on Throwback.